Spotlight, lectures and performances on and around Albany State University.
President Freeman and the faculty and staff of Albany State University would like to welcome each of you to the Department of Education pinning ceremony. We are glad that you have taken the time to share this moment with us. And I am the presiding person, Ella Robertson, and I will be presiding this evening. First, on our program, we have a poem by Mr. Quentin Brooks.
Good evening, everybody. All right. If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep the streets, even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep the streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause and say, "Here lived the great street sweeper who did his job well. I am going to do my job well." The question I posed to my fellow 2012 college graduates, will you?
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Now that Mr. Brooks has given you the charge, please go forth with it. Next, we'll have a musical selection by Ms. Jade Anderson.
Have you ever reached the rainbow's end? Did you find your pot of gold? Ever cast a shooting star? And tell me, how high did you soar? Ever felt like you were dreaming just to find out your way, and the magic that's around you can lift you up and guide you on your way? I could see it in the stars across the sky. Dreamed 100,000 dreams before, now I finally realize. You see, I've waited all my life for this moment to arrive, and finally I believe. When you look out in the distance, you see it never was that far. Oh no, heaven knows your resistance and wants you to be everything you are. Oh, there's a time for every soul to fly. It's in the eyes of every child. It's the hope that love will save the world. No, you should never let it down. I can see it in the stars across the sky. Dreamed 100,000 dreams before, now I finally realize. See, I've waited all my life for this moment to arrive, and finally, I believe in the impossible. If I reach deep within my heart, overcome any obstacle, won't let this dream fall apart. See, I strive to be the very best, shine my light for all to see, that anything is possible when you believe. Oh, dreamed 100,000 dreams before, now I finally realize. See, I waited all my life for this moment to arrive, and finally I believe.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. And graduates, now, according to the song, you're at that moment where you can believe. You've already done it. You can believe it now. It's a done deal. Next, we will have the introduction of our speaker by Mrs. Vicks.
Good evening. It is a great pleasure to introduce our speaker for the evening. But before he speaks, I think you should know a little bit about him. Our speaker is a native of Thomasville, Georgia. After high school, he graduated from Georgia Southwestern University with a Bachelor's of Science in History and a Master's degree in Education. He continued his studies at Valdosta State University, West Georgia College, and he received his educational specialist degree from Nova Southeastern University. He has 33 years of experience in education. He started his teaching career as a classroom teacher at Thomasville High School in 1979. He's taught at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. Furthermore, he's worked as an administrator at all 3 levels of public education. He also held middle school certification and is certified as a teacher support specialist in Georgia. Our speaker is certified as an educator in Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. He has 11 years of administrative experience, including 3.5 years at the district level, where he served as Deputy Superintendent of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment in Hampton District 2 in Estill, South Carolina. He's worked in 7 school districts and in 2 states, that's Georgia and South Carolina. Our speaker has touched countless lives during his career as an educator. Talk to his former students, and they will describe him as a man who taught passionately, with a love for the subject, for his students, and for teaching itself. Ask his former colleagues, and they'll tell you of a person who was willing and able to help his fellow educators as his students, as a man whose advice was and is still sought out and respected by all. Ask the administrations of school systems in Georgia and South Carolina, and they will unhesitatingly tell you of a man whom they are proud to have had as a member of their team, a man whom they respect for his wisdom, insight, and understanding. To Albany State University's faculty and staff, graduates and guests, I feel very privileged to be able to introduce to you a superlative human being, an outstanding educator, a colleague, and my neighbor, Mr. Morris Lamar Arrington.
First of all, I would like to say thank you to Mrs. Vicks for that introduction. Mrs. Vicks actually mentored me when I first became a principal, and because of you, I've continued to soar. I want to say congratulations to the aspiring teachers who are being honored this evening during this pinning ceremony. I would like to thank Erica Carver, but also Dr. King Jupiter and Dr. Fields for this opportunity. And then before I say my speech, because I do have a bit of home training, I would like to acknowledge and say to, I see Richard Williams on the stage, his grandmother taught me in the 60s, early 60s, my 5th grade teacher. His mother taught me twice during the 60s and 70s. His father was my high school guidance counselor. So I come from a very supportive type of town. I was told I couldn't stay long, and I was told two things. This is not to be a solemn occasion. And I was also told that I could not use but 1 minute for each topic. But I was always the kind of administrator and the classroom teacher. I kind of did a little bit what I wanted to do. Because to me, you are so very important, and I really do want to take my time to give you some valuable advice. As the children say, I think I do know a little something, something. With the topic of bridging the gap between the cooperative teacher and novice teacher, I would like to offer some practical advice to you, future teachers, using this thing, the 12 keys for success in the teaching profession. Here are the 12 keys. Key number 1, be positive. Start your day by reading positive, uplifting literature. Read something inspirational before you start teaching. I once read these lines from an unknown poet. Today is yours to beautify and to mar. You can paint a beautiful picture, or you can leave an ugly scar. This is a profound statement, and it's actually true. Your attitude at the beginning of the day will determine whether you will have a positive day or a negative day. Your attitude at the beginning of the day will determine whether your students actually learn. In order to make a positive difference, first of all, you must be positive. Key number 2, be humble, because humility will take you far in this profession. I implore you, do not enter the profession with arrogance or having I know-it-all attitude. There's an old saying that says, the star that shines the fastest, the star that shines the brightest, fades the fastest. Have a humble spirit, because humility is actually the way. By being humble, others will help you. Veteran teachers will be willing to mentor you. If you are humble, approachable, and void of arrogance, you will have a promising start to a long and prosperous career. Key number 3, dress for success. During my 8th year of teaching, I learned the true meaning of dressing professionally. Miss Catherine Florence, a reading teacher, came to me one day, and she thanked me for influencing her nephew, Walter, because Walter started once a week wearing a dress shirt and a tie. I reminded Miss Florence I didn't even teach Walter. I never actually had a conversation with Walter. Mrs. Florence said, Mr. Arrington, you have made an impression, because our boys do not see men dressing for success. As a history teacher, you should realize that our boys always saw their fathers, their uncles, and their grandfathers putting on uniforms, going to work. How you dress, how you act, has a profound effect on boys and girls. Your girls, our girls, will remember you and your image when they select their future husband or raise their children. To the young male teachers, never, never, ever, ever, ever enter a school or a classroom with your pants sagging. I always remind male students and male teachers, school is the preparation for the workforce. The military does not allow sagging. CEOs do not wear their pants sagging. Everybody just can't be a little Wayne. If you are a future teacher and you are a male, never walk down the hallway doing what I call the Trey Songz walk. That's actually strutting down the hallway to keep your sagging pants from not falling. I remind you, you were hired to teach. You were hired to inspire. Please do not emulate the outside world. As to aspiring female teachers, I'm not saying that you have to dress like the First Lady of the church. But it is not acceptable to dress at any point like Kim Kardashian or wearing a Nicki Minaj outfit to school. Your attire makes a positive statement and a powerful statement about you as the teacher. To both male and female novice teachers, please realize that the most important days for dressing are the first day of school, the first parent conference, and always honors day. Key number 4, create a positive, nurturing, visually stunning, and engaging classroom environment. The outward appearance of a teacher's classroom tells much about the teacher's character, the teacher's expectation of the students, and the learning environment of the classroom. Please consider using the following in creating your classroom. A, display positive, uplifting quotes. I still can remember the first one that I used in 1979. If it is to be, it is up to me. B, have a picture of achievers from the academic world. Take pictures of students performing group activities. Display outstanding student works and write specific commentary on the students' work. Do more than say a good job, very good. Be very specific in your commentary. Change classroom decorations in accordance to the seasons or when teaching new units or during the different 9 weeks. Taking pictures of students, displaying pictures of students in your classroom is a great motivational technique. Students of all ages, even high school students, love having their pictures taken. Student pictures capture magical moments for students and capture magical moments of your teaching career. These pictures can make a positive impression for a lifetime. Key number 5, listen. It is a critical key, one of the most important keys for your survival. There's an old adage that many of you might have heard from your grandmother. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should listen twice as much as you talk. In the teaching world, you must listen attentively to students, parents, positive veteran teachers, and administrators. Become an active, attentive listener because it is one of the greatest skills that a teacher can have. Please pay close attention and listen carefully to parents. Here's a technique that I've used for many years as a classroom teacher, as a principal, and a deputy superintendent. I call it the Oprah technique. With parents at conference, I let them do all the talking first. I nod my head occasionally, and then I repeat what they have said so that they can process what has been said. Then I say what I need to say. Then I say, thank you for sharing. I say something like, I believe that working together, we can make a difference, or we can resolve this issue. I walk the person to the door or to the front office. I smile and I say, thank you so very much for coming. Later, I reflect on the conference, and then and only then do I take action. Number 6, You ready for it? You might not like it, but it needs to be said. Leave your personal biases and prejudice attitude at the schoolhouse door if you have one. This means don't take your biased behavior or biased judgment into the classroom. Students deserve to learn in a bias-free environment. Prejudice behavior has no place in the classroom. Bigotry is not needed in any of the classrooms throughout America. Students can detect biased judgment and prejudiced behavior with great accuracy. This includes racial prejudice, gender biases, and socioeconomic biases. Be very careful of the comments which you make as a classroom teacher, especially if they're judgmental comments. As a classroom teacher and as a future teacher leader, don't allow students to communicate put-downs to others. Telling gender offensive jokes, making crude comments about a person's sexual orientation is not acceptable in today's classrooms. It is simply wrong. If you, the teacher, communicate that these types of behavior are not acceptable, your students will remember your comments for a lifetime. Please remember, keep your personal biases to yourself. Keep them at home if you possess them. Key number 7, plan and reflect. In order to become an effective classroom teacher, take time to plan meaningful and engaging lessons. Yes, it does take time. Always go into your classrooms prepared. There was a popular phrase back in the 1970s which stated, "You can't fool Mother Nature." If you are not prepared, you're only fooling yourself because your students will automatically know. To me, the first year of teaching is actually the hardest, but in time it becomes easier. On a daily basis, you need to quietly reflect on the implementation of your taught lesson. With the new evaluation instruments in both South Carolina and Georgia, teachers will be required to reflect after teaching, and I think that is a very good thing. Key number 8, learn something new each and every day. I believe that educators should read educational articles. During my many job interviews as a classroom teacher, I was always asked to discuss a recent educational article that I had read. Please be prepared, aspiring teachers. All teachers grow professionally from staff development. Therefore, please embrace it. Since the field of education is always evolving, you need to keep abreast of trends in education and current event articles that relate to education. Just 2 weeks ago, I read an interesting article about a 100-year-old Chicago teacher who had died, and she spent nearly 80 years on the job. Now that is truly dedication. Key number 9. Now with key number 9, it took me a long time to realize this one. Working on establishing effective classroom management is a process. It is a journey. It will not happen overnight. It will not happen during one school year. Yes, reading Harry Wong's First Day of Book will assist you, but being fair, consistent, and using positive reinforcement will create a great learning environment. Here are some additional helpful hints. Number 1, never discipline a child when you, the teacher, are angry. Number 2, when you discipline a child, step back, do not touch a child. If you do, you'll find the unemployment office and the police department and DFACS will find you. Number 3, establish positive contact with parents in the very beginning before there's a problem. And then learn to do this. Ask others for help. If you're having classroom management issues, ask for assistance from veteran teachers, team leaders, administrators, and the guidance counselor. It is not a sign of weakness if you ask for help, because no one becomes a master teacher alone. Perfecting the art of classroom management is just like discovering your inner self. Only you can discover what really works for you. Key number 10, be the best that you can be in this profession. Strive for excellence year after year. Set a high standard for yourself. Strive to become a master teacher. In the 1980s, there was the legendary Marva Collins of Chicago. Today, there's the legendary Ron Clark of Atlanta, who has that very famous Learning Academy. Marva Collins and Ron Clark started this profession just like you. They were sitting in some ceremony many years ago just like you. Just last year, another promising student started her teaching journey just like you. She worked as a pre-K teacher. Although her time was brief with her students, Mariah Myers' impact will remain a lifetime with the students that she encountered. This quote illustrates my point. 100 years from now, it will not matter what is in my bank account, but the lives that I touch will live on for another 100 years. Key number 11, always be a professional. Students want a teacher, a positive role model, not a buddy, not a friend. Enough said. And finally, key number 12, inspire others. Always remember, the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher demonstrates, but the great teacher inspires. I challenge each of you to become a master teacher. Then one day, you might become a teaching icon. Sometimes teachers inspire others when they least expect it. Like the famous story of the boy named Teddy. Now, with you, how many of you have heard of the story of Teddy Stoller? Raise your hand. I can tell it. Teddy was a 5th grader struggling in school. He was very hard to handle. His teacher, Mrs. Thompson, always said that she loved all of her students, but secretly she had to admit she did not like Teddy in the beginning. At Christmas, the students brought Mrs. Thompson presents. She opened them in front of the class, and you know that was a mistake. Most were beautiful gifts, but Teddy's present was wrapped in a brown grocery bag. He gave his teacher a cheap-looking bracelet with rhinestones missing, along with a bottle of cheap perfume, half of it which was gone. The students laughed, but Miss Thompson hushed them, and she acted quite pleased. She even dabbed the cheap perfume on her wrist. After class, she went to read Teddy's student folder, and it said, Teddy's mother died while he was in the 4th grade, and his father shows little interest in Teddy. Miss Thompson decided to make Teddy her personal project, showing him attention and mentoring him. Many years later, Mrs. Thompson received a letter from Teddy, which stated, Miss Thompson, thank you. I just graduated from medical school. I'm a doctor. Also, I'm about to be married, and I want to see if you would come to my wedding. I would like you to sit where my mother would have been if she were still alive today. Now, this is actually a true story. I close with this. Although I've talked about the 12 keys, if you don't remember anything else, and I truly do believe this with all of my heart, teaching is a calling. Many will hear the calling, but only a few will truly answer the calling. Your participation in this pinning ceremony indicates that you too heard the calling. Whether you really answer the calling depends on what is deep inside of you. I believe that each of you can truly answer the calling. Last year, Mariah Myers heard the calling, and she answered the calling by using her heart, her soul, and her mind working with her pre-K students. I challenge each of you to answer this great calling to teach. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Arrington. And as you were speaking, being a veteran teacher of 25 years, I too was reminiscing on the 12 keys of success. And in my mind, I was going back, and every day, it's an exciting job. You know, when you do it from the heart, you can enjoy it, and you know that it is your calling. And when you go through those 12 steps, just remind yourself that each day is a new day, and go in with that positive attitude. Thank you again, Dr. Arrington. Now we're down to the part in which everyone is waiting for, and we're at the pinning portion of our program. And the acronym PEN, P-E-N, stands for Professional Embracing Novice. And I'm just going to share that first sentence with you on the second page. Inducting new teachers into the profession with mentoring support is vital to the success of a beginning teacher. And now when we get ready, you're getting ready to go out into the real world of work, of education. In most school systems, they tend to pair you up with a veteran teacher or someone that's going to take you under their wings and look after you. So this is the part that we've been waiting for, and I'm not going to get back up after I do this. Well, I'm just going to tell you the name of the people that's going to be doing the actual pinning. For early childhood education, Dr. Celine, Health and Physical Education and Recreation, Ms. Connor, Middle Grades Education, Dr. Ansar, Music Education, Dr. Hood, Special Education, Dr. Sheffield, and I will be back after we do our pinning.
Good afternoon. So this is the moment that we have been waiting for. Just want to say congratulations to everyone who is about to be pinned for a job well done. You're about to enter a noble profession. I'm going to call the candidate's name, her school assignment, principal's name, the cooperating teacher, and the person who is going to pin her or him. So we're going to begin with India Adams. India Adams is an early childhood major. Her school assignment was Sherwood Acres. Her principal is Mr. Eddie Johnson. Her cooperating teacher is Ms. Howard. University supervisor, Ms. Willie Mae Jackson. And Ms. Adams is going to be pinned by Ms. Cassandra Powell. Okay. Kyoko Austin, early childhood education, school assignment Northside Elementary. Principal, Dr. Maquetta Griswold. Cooperating teacher, Mary Burgess. University supervisor, Mrs. Jackson. And Ms. Austin will be penned by Erica Carver, Director of Field Placement at Albany State. Okay. Samantha Bennett. School assignment, Waresboro Elementary School. Principal, Mrs. Susan Newman. Cooperating teacher, Ms. Ann Sanders. University supervisor, Dr. Linda Perry Simpson. Ms. Bennett is penned by her favorite teacher, Ms. Minnie Goatee. Selena Benton. School assignment, Turner Elementary. Principal, Dr. Gail Solomon. Cooperating teacher, Fatima Jackson. University supervisor, Dr. Sims. Selena will be penned by her cooperating teacher, Ms. Fatima Jackson. Did I say your name correctly? Is it Fatima? Okay, sorry, Fatima. All right. Ashley Brooks. Oops. Okay, excuse me. Excuse me, Marilyn Banks. Ms. Banks will, school assignment is Westtown Elementary. Her principal is Dr. Lee Shiver. Cooperating teacher, Emma Cheevers, sorry. University supervisor, Barbara Williams. Ms. Banks will be penned by Ms. Cheevers. Okay. Ashley Brooks. School, KPS. Principal, Dr. Trina Muse. Cooperating teacher, Kim Dobson. And university supervisor, Bobby Fuse. Ms. Brooks will be penned by Erica Carver. Patricia Brown. School assignment, CRK Head Start. Okay. Okay, those pens take a moment, don't they? Okay, Ms. Brown's school assignment is Head Start. Her principal is Anita White. Her cooperating teacher is Anita White. And her university supervisor is Naomi Carroll. She will be penned by her teacher, her cooperating teacher, Ms. White. Yvette Caseman. School assignment, Magnolia Elementary. Principal, Dr. Jackie Frazier. Cooperating teacher, Ms. Kimberly Johnson. University supervisor, Viola Brooks. And I will be pinning Ms. Caseman. She is my advisor. Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Elizabeth Clenny. School assignment is, well, she teaches at the second grade in Early County. Principal, Mrs. Cullifer. Cooperating teacher, Mrs. Harrell. University Supervisor Erica Carver and Mrs. Vicks. And Ms. Clenny will be penned by Mrs. Harrell, her cooperating teacher. LaShanita Cribb. Ms. Cribb's school assignment is Ellis Coachman Elementary. The location is in Dougherty County. Her principal is Patricia Victor. Cooperating teacher Lisa Williams Hall. University supervisor Ms. Jackson. And LaShanita Cribb is going to be penned by her mother, Opal Alford. Congratulations. Veronica Crockett. Veronica's school assignment is Turner County Elementary. Her principal is Vicki Brown. Cooperating teachers are Melissa Soliday and Allison Oden. University supervisor is Mr. Bobby Fuse. Veronica is penned by Mr. Bobby Fuse. Okay. Quentin Everhart. School assignment, Turner Elementary. Principal is Dr. Gail Solomon. Cooperating teachers are Miss Carol Price and Mrs. Marcia Harper. University supervisor is Mr. Bobby Hughes. Mr. Bobby Fuse. And Quentin is penned by Wade Pouncil, his uncle. Courtney Eady. Courtney's school assignment is St. Teresa Catholic School. Her principal is Mary Lou Gamache. Her cooperating teacher is Mrs. Masters. University supervisor, Dr. Taylor. Courtney Eady is penned by Jade. Barbara Jade? Barbara Jack. Oh, excuse me, Barbara Jack, her high school literature teacher. Wow. Angela Holton. Her school assignment is Live Oak Elementary. Principal, Mrs. Lane. Cooperating teacher, Ms. Christy Timmons. University supervisor, Dr. Joanne Taylor. Angela is penned by Erica Carver. Brittany Cruz. Her student teaching assignment is at Lake Park Elementary. Her principal is Mrs. Coleman. Cooperating teachers are Deborah Frazier. Her university supervisor is Dr. Taylor. And Brittany is penned by Deborah Frazier, her cooperating teacher. Brenda Morrow. School assignment, SGA Achievement Center. Principal, Dr. John Davis. Cooperating teacher, Miss Shona Stewart and Dr. Priscilla Thomas. University supervisor, Miss Erica Carver. And Miss Morrow will be penned by her son. Carmen Simmons. School assignment, Lamar Reese. principal, Mr. George Graham. Cooperating teacher, Mrs. Melissa Childs. University supervisor, Dr. Joanna Taylor. Carmen is penned by Hattie Simmons, her mother. Congratulations. Beverly Smith. School assignment, Clinch County Elementary School, first grade. Principal, Dr. Shelley Tyre. Cooperating teacher, Mrs. Heather Bell. University supervisor, Dr. Linda Perry Simpson. Beverly is penned by Mrs. Heather Bell, her cooperating teacher. Okay. Ashley Tolbert. School assignment, third grade math at Alice Coachman Elementary School. Principal, Mrs. Victor. University supervisor, Mrs. Williams. Ms. Tolbert is penned by Ms. Carla Malone, her assistant principal. Arnessa Thompson. Ooh. Excuse me. Jordan Waller. Jordan's school assignment is Morningside Elementary. Her principal is David Walker. Cooperating teacher, Ms. Thornton. University supervisor, Ms. Carroll. Ms. Waller is penned by Ms. Thornton, her cooperating teacher. Barbara Wallace. School assignment Morningside. Principal David Walker. Cooperating teachers Mrs. Kay Copeland. University supervisor Ms. Naomi Campbell. Oh, excuse me, Ms. Naomi Carroll. Okay. Ms. Kay Copeland will be pinning her cooperating teacher. Katrina West. Katrina's school assignment is Sherwood Acres Elementary. Her principal is Mr. Eddie Johnson. Her cooperating teacher is Ms. Delisa Long. Her university supervisor is Dr. Taylor. Ms. West is pinned by Chandrika West, her cousin and cooperating teacher, Delisa Long. Okay. Kimberly Wimberly. School assignment, Radium Springs Elementary. Principal, Gail Griffin. Cooperating teacher, Alfreda Williams. University supervisor, Willie Jackson. Ms. Wimberly will be pinned by Lolisa Williams, her mentor teacher. Is that it? Oh, yes. Okay. Is she early child? No. Okay. 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 Will all the early childhood graduates please stand? Okay. Congratulations again. Thank you.
next department to be pinned will be that of the Health, Physical Education, and Recreation Department. I am Chair of the department, Dr. Richard Williams. The two candidates that we have from the Hyper Department, the first candidate is Faith Foggy. Mrs. Foggy is a double major, Health, Physical Education, and Health, Physical Education, Recreation. Her school assignment was Daughtery High. Her principal, Ms. Wilson Williams. Cooperating teachers, Charlene Jackson and Donald Poole. University supervisor, Mr. Robert James. Mrs. Foggy will be pinned by Mrs. Connor, her academic advisor. The next candidate for the Hyper Department to be pinned is that of our master's individual, Ms. Shalisa Zinneman. Ms. Zinneman is a health physical education major, where her school assignment was Worth County Middle School. Her principal, Tiffany Seaver. Cooperating teachers, Mitch Mitchell and Michelle Suggs. University supervisor, Mr. Robert James. Mrs. Zinneman is being pinned by her advisor, Mrs. LaTanya Connor. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the two candidates for the Hyper Department. Thank you.
The next department is middle grades. Our first candidate is Miss Kristen Bandu. Her school assignment is International Studies Elementary Charter School. Principal, Dr. Zeta George. The cooperating teachers, Dr. Desiree Jackson, Miss Evangelia Jones. Her university supervisor is Mr. Bobby Fuse. And Kristen is pinned by Dr. Desiree Jackson, her supervising teacher. Next we have Miss Alicia Buckstick. School assignment, Radiant Springs Middle Magnet School of Arts. Principal is Mr. Vincent Davis. Cooperating teachers, Mrs. Shania Mash and Miss Marshall Jackson. Her university supervisor was Miss Viola Brooks. Miss Buckstick is pinned by Miss Marshall Jackson, her cooperating teacher. Next we have Mr. Quentin Brooks. School assignment, Albany Early College. Principal, Mrs. Harvey. Cooperating teacher, Miss Bass. University supervisor, Mr. Fuse. Quentin is pinned by Miss Bass, his cooperating teacher. Next, we have Miss Erica Gaines. School assignment, Albany Middle. Principal is Horace Reed. Cooperating teacher, Miss Kimberly Halsey. University supervisor was Bobby Fuse. And Erica is pinned by Dr. Doreen Medley. Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you. Next, we have Miss Adrienne Gresham. School assignment, Mary Akers. Principal is Dr. Ian. Cooperating teacher was Mrs. Rivers. University supervisor was Mrs. Carver. Adrienne is pinned by Mrs. Rivers, her cooperating teacher. Next, we have my man and my old boy, Tim Hardwick. Timothy Hardwick. Timothy was at St. Teresa's. Her principal was Mrs. Mary Gamash, and corporate teacher Mrs. Lara Garner. University supervisor was Mr. Bobby Fuse. Tim is penned by Mrs. Garner, his corporate teacher. Yes. Thank you. Natasha Hall is next. School assignment, Radio Springs. Corporate teacher was Miss Poole and Mr. Davis. University supervisor was Miss Brooks. Natasha is pinned by Mr. Okay. All right. Thank you. Next, we have Francis Hart Hopkins. School assignment, Work County Middle School. Principal, Dr. Darlene Turner. Cooperating teacher, Mrs. Rebecca Baudry. University supervisor was Dr. Linda Perry Simpson. Hart is penned by Mr. Marvin Hopkins, her father. Next, we have Ms. Sheila Howard. Okay. Shahida Johnson is next, please. School assignment, Radio Springs Middle. Principal, Mr. Vincent Davies. Cooperating teachers, Ms. Lorinda Odom, Mrs. Dawn Brown. Her university supervisor was Mrs. Viola Brooks, and Shahida Johnson is penned by Ms. Lorinda Odom, her cooperating teacher. Thank you. Next, we have Mr. John McAllister. School assignment, Robert Krause Middles. Principal, Dr. Simon Pringle. Cooperating teachers, Ms. Angela Gibson, Ms. Sequils Walker. University supervisor was Mr. Bobby Fuse. Mr. McAllister is penned by Mrs. Angela Gibson, his science supervising teacher. Nikisha is penned by Andrew Sadler, cooperating teacher. Dr. Fields? Dr. Fields, who's next there? And Spills? Okay. Next, we have Leanne Wooten. School assignment was Mary Akers. Cooperating teacher was Mrs. Nikki Daldil. And university supervisor was Mrs. Viola Brooks. Leanne is penned by Mrs. Nikki Dido, supervising teacher. It's Dido or Dido? Dido. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, well, middle grade candidates, please stand. We'll give them a hand. I'm nuts here. I'm out of here. Done.
Greetings. I am Marcia Hood. I chair the Department of Fine Arts, and I am so proud to present the candidates for pinning for the degree in music education. Jade Anderson. Jade Anderson assignment was at Twin Oaks Elementary School. Her principal, Dr. Jason Miller. Her cooperating teacher, Mr. Gary Younger, and her university supervisor, Dr. Deanna Weber, and she will be pinned by her teacher, Dr. Michael Martin. Corey Bronson. Corey Bronson's assignment was Albany High School. His cooperating teacher, Mr. Trevor Baxter. Yours truly, Marcia Hood, was his university supervisor, and he will be pinned by the band director of Albany High School, Trevor Baxter. Robert Galbraith was assigned to Albany Middle School at the Turner Field. His principal, Mr. Horace Reed, cooperating teachers, Jessica Udell and Trevor Baxter. The university supervisor, Mr. Russell Brown, and he will be pinned by band director Trevor Baxter. Thomas Lamb was assigned to Southside Middle School. His principal, Dr. Johnny Scott, cooperating teacher, Mr. Corey Goodson, university supervisor, Dr. Kenneth Trimmins, and Mr. Lamb will be pinned by his teacher, Mr. Michael DeQueer. Mr. Trenton Lumpkin was assigned to Radium Springs Middle School. The principal, Mr. Vincent Davis, his cooperating teacher, Mr. Laszlo Stan. Yours truly, Marcia Hood, was his university supervisor, and he will be pinned by his father. You look like your dad. I am so grateful to be able to make the next presentation. The candidate is Carlos McKibben. Mr. McKibben was assigned to Lee County High School last year. The principal, Mr. Kevin Dowling. His cooperating teachers were Russell Brown and Mr. Hank Carter. His university supervisor was Mr. Russell Brown and yours truly, Marcia Hood. And he will be pinned by his applied saxophone teacher, Mr. Russell Brown. Will the future music educators please rise? Congratulations.
I'm Dr. Sheffield, and I have the pleasure of introducing our special ed graduates for the pinning ceremony. First one is Miss Amber Lawson. Miss Lawson major is special education. Her school assignment was Magnolia Elementary School. Her principal was Miss Jacqueline Frazier. Her cooperating teachers were Miss Pamela Bowe and Miss Curry McCant. Her university supervisor was Miss Barbara Williams. Amber is being pinned by Mrs. Bell, her cooperating teacher. Miss Gloria Peterson. I'm sorry, this is Miss Gloria Humphrey McDowell. She's a special education major. Her school assignment was Carver Elementary in Dawson, Georgia. Her principal was Miss Loretta Williams. Her cooperating teachers were Miss Ella Robinson and Miss Quanika Norris. Her university supervisor was Dr. Kimberly Fields. She is being pinned by Miss Ella Robinson. Miss Quintessa Robinson. Miss Robinson is a special education major. Her school assignment was Lamar Reese Elementary School here in Albany, Georgia. Her principal was Mr. George Graham. Her cooperating teacher was Miss Monica Lewis. Her university supervisor was Dr. Clara Sheffield. Quintessa is being pinned by Miss Lewis, her cooperating teacher. Miss Lavonda Waters. Miss Lavonda Waters is a special education major. Her school assignment was Twin Oaks Elementary. The location is Leesburg, Georgia. Her principal was Dr. Jason Miller. Her cooperating teacher was Miss Holly Butler. Her university supervisor was Dr. Clara Sheffield. Lavonda is being pinned by Shakira Waters, her niece. Miss Michelle Williams. Michelle is a special education major. Her school assignment, Turner Elementary School, Albany, Georgia. Her principal, Dr. Gail Solomon. Her cooperating teacher, Miss Stephanie Axide. Her university supervisor, Dr. Clara Sheffield. Michelle is being pinned by Miss Axide. Miss Samantha Williams. Miss Williams is a special ed major with the Masters of Education and Special Ed. Her school assignment was Terra Middle School as an inclusion teacher. Her principal was Mr. Douglas Bell. Her cooperating teacher, Ms. Raphael Kirby. Her university supervisor, Dr. Barbara Williams. Samantha is being pinned by Lisa Searcy, her sister. Okay. They didn't get a picture. Okay. Will all the 2012 special ed graduates please stand? Thank you.
At this time, let's give all of our graduates a hand. Now we will have a tribute to Mariah Myers, and this is the young lady who lost her life due to an automobile accident. And we're going to have a musical selection. Now we will have a reading by Ms. Gloria McDowell.
Good evening, Dr. Freeman and colleagues. I'm greatly moved by the tragic death of Mariah Myers. I served as her advisor and reading professor at the undergraduate and the graduate level. In fact, Mariah would have graduated with her master's in early childhood education in the spring semester 2013. I still remember fondly our emotion-filled discussions in the undergraduate reading courses. I'd ask a content area question, and she responded with an unfounded, off-the-wall opinion. No matter how I tried to tell her that opinions are welcome in the profession, if supported with evidence, she insisted passionately that her opinion was just good enough. I also remember how Mariah would come to my aid in class when I struggled to infuse technology in the reading classes. Frustrated with uploading my brilliant presentations on the computer, Mariah would walk calmly to the computer, use her OIT expertise, and resolve the issue with ease. I guess we all do learn from each other. Our in-class exchanges led to an out-of-class friendship, and as she would visit me in my office to chat and chew the fat. As she began her graduate studies, our chat shifted to the ills of our education system, our faith walk, and life in general. I witnessed a powerful professional in the making. I would like to request that Albany State University consider conferring posthumously the Masters in Early Childhood Education to Mariah Myers. I believe it would be a fitting tribute in her memory. Thank you in advance for your consideration. Dr. Patricia Jenkins, Associate Professor, College of Education.
Thank you, Ms. McDowell. Now at this time, I would like for everyone in here to pause for a few moments of silence in honor and memory of the family and Ms. Myers at this time. Amen. Now, we're almost down to the end of our program, which we will have our announcements by Dr. Kimberly Fields, who's the chair, and our closing remarks, Dr. Kimberly King-Jupiter, who's our dean. And I'm not going to get before you again, but I would like to thank the Department of Education for inviting me to preside in this program. And my hat's off to Dr. Fields, because when I was here in graduate school and we would have to do presentations in class, I would tell Dr. Fields, I can't do it, I can't do it. I'm going to go into anxiety attacks. I cannot do it. I would always be the last one in the room to do my presentations. So I am proud of myself today because I'm standing here presiding over this program. And also, I was notified on a short notice, and I was like, I can't do it. But I couldn't let my alma mater down, so I'm here. And thanks again to the Department of Ed.
I did have a birthday Monday, Ella, but don't start dating me. I am just so proud. You know, Dr. King Jupiter and I were just talking about when you work with students so much, when you guys enter our doors. I remember the first time many of you entered our doors, or the first time you transferred into one of our programs, and you came in, you may have had some concerns, you had some worries, and you always have that when you anticipate a new beginning. And today is not the end to that beginning. It's just one more step into a different journey, because several of you who were pinned today were once again pinned by students that I worked with over my career here at ASU, and I'm so proud of them who have gone on to become some of our cooperating teachers, because they gathered those little keys that we gave out to them when they were in our program, and they took those keys, and with those keys they've helped to unlock the doors to your futures. So I'm very proud of them, the cooperating teachers. I want to give them a round of applause. To those that are ASU grads and then those that went somewhere else. But I am just so very proud of all of our candidates at whatever level you are, and just know that this is just one little footstool, a footstep to you making many more in the sands of your journey of time. I have the task of doing announcements. So the first announcement and most important announcement I want to make is that you need to be at the Civic Center on time tomorrow. Okay, so all of your family are here. They're going to take you out and celebrate tonight. But don't celebrate too much, because your real day is tomorrow, because we gave you a pen. Tomorrow you'll get your degree. So we need to make sure you're at the Civic Center on time tomorrow. What time should you be at the Civic Center? Somebody said 7:30, that's good, but no later than 8 o'clock, and all of the faculty that are in here, I'm sure Dr. King Jupiter recognized the faculty, but I want to make sure I announce to the faculty that we need to be there on time tomorrow too, because the line of march will start just a little bit earlier, 9:35, so that we can all, faculty, staff, administrators, students, everyone be in on time to start the commencement at 10 o'clock. So make sure you're timely in the morning. Many of you came early today because you completed your certification applications with Mr. Mathis and Ms. Walker. Mr. Mathis does just a great job here, also Ms. Walker. If you did not have the opportunity, or for some reason you missed completing that certification application with Mr. Mathis, make sure that you visit with him very soon. You have earned your degree, but your certificate will not magically appear, and it will not come in your mailbox. So I'm sure he has told you the process of obtaining all of that. Everything is electronic now, so electronically make sure you get that. So if you didn't, make sure that you speak to Mr. Mathis. We will have refreshments immediately following the program. So once you leave, there are refreshments outside. We know many of you just have many long journeys. We have our Waycross students here, and for our Waycross students, I would just like to say we've always bragged on our Bainbridge cohort so much that has now changed to our Southwest Georgia cohort, which is in Cairo, and we've always bragged on them, and we will continue to do so. But I'd like to dedicate this brag on this moment to the Waycross cohort. All of you are here in our Waycross cohort. Could I have you to please stand, please? All right, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, the arms of Albany State University are just stretched so wide that we capture so many individuals, and I am just confident that before too long, Albany State University will be the premier university for all of education in the state of Georgia. We're in the South right now, but all of education in the state of Georgia before Dr. King Jupiter takes us on a worldwide tour. But once again, just thanks so much for your participation in today's program, and I'm sure that we're looking at the faces of many excellent educators who will impact the lives of many students. Thank you.
This is I'm in the 2.5-year mark, which means that now when I look out and see our graduates walk across the stage, I actually know you. Not only do we know you, you've given us the honor of knowing your stories and understanding your journey. I want you to keep in mind as you leave this place that teaching is both leadership that requires service. Teaching is leadership that requires you to think of yourself as a servant, okay? And one of the challenges that I know I have with service, because I believe administration is service, one of the challenges I have is it's not always comfortable. Did you know that? It's not always glorified. There are not always a lot of awards publicly. It's not always comfortable. It really isn't. And I can speak to you from having led the college and been in other leadership positions. It's really not. And so as I struggle with service, I had a conversation with my dad. Now I'll share this with you because you know y'all belong to us. Well, y'all too, but they belong to us. I met my dad for the first time at 44. He's a retired lieutenant colonel from the Army. We got a good relationship now. And I was having this conversation with him about the uncomfortable nature of service and how much you sacrifice and your family sacrifices for you to be where you are and do what you do. And he said, well, what made you think service would be easy? What made you think it would be comfortable? I thought about what he said because the reality is that leadership is service, and service is also my activism. It's the way that I serve the Creator, and it's the way that we hopefully get a world that's more like what it should be. That's what teaching is. That's what education is. You got the business people, and you got the nurses, you got all these other professions. Nobody is required to serve the way educators are. And that's something you need to understand. You will have challenges, but what do we do with a challenge? I'm not a shrinking violet. If you came out of this college from my crew, you are not a shrinking violet. So when we encounter a challenge, what do? We don't duck. We don't go around it. We don't pretend like it didn't exist. We level our chins upward, and we go straight across. We handle our business. That's what you do when you believe in service. And that's what we do as Golden Rams from the College of Education. Now, with that said, you guys do belong to us. You're not only our alums, but my team, and I refer to my faculty and staff as my team. I'm gonna be done in a second, baby. My team has put so much into all of you that please join me. If you are employed by the College of Education, if you're a faculty or staff, please stand. Please join me in thanking my staff for all that they've sacrificed to get you where you are. And then with that said, they weren't the only people sacrificing for you. Raise your hand if you're one of our candidates and you're married. Raise your hand. All right, that means some spouse has sacrificed immensely for you to sit here. Somebody cooked a meal when you were late or doing homework. Somebody changed a diaper if you got babies. Somebody told a lie to cover for something you should have done, but you couldn't because you were doing something else. Somebody covered for you and made the homework while you were taking care of your business at school to get you here. Somebody did that for you. Some kid took a picture on the stage for his mama today. He's been standing by her as she's walked this journey to now, right? Somebody's parent has paid tuition. As one with one in college, now that ain't the easiest job in the world for some of us, because my name is not Donald Trump. So somebody, obviously, somebody paid tuition. More importantly, when you called and you had a struggle, somebody answered the phone and said, it's going to be all right. Somebody said to you, No matter what the challenge, you ain't made of nothing. You know how to handle a challenge. Somebody did that for you. And I'm guessing it was these people who took the journey to sit here with you and celebrate it. So please join me in thanking them. If you haven't already, please do so tonight and forever. But at this point, let's thank your families for all that they've done for you to get you to this point. So now that I've established all these people you need to thank, that means you owe them. And let me tell you how you thank people who you owe something to. You make sure that every day from this point forward, you shine as brightly as possible. You make sure that every time you walk into your job, your profession, that you are your exceptional best. You make sure that second is not good enough for you, because so many people got you to this place and you owe them. So when you pay us back, I want to be paid back with greatness. If you have me to say thank you for, then be grateful and great for the kids in the classroom. If you owe your parents a thank you, go forward and do well with somebody else's child so they get to where you are. As you owe so many people, so much is expected of you, and I expect to see that. I know I'm gonna get you back, because you can't just get a bachelor's degree in education and walk on. You can't. To truly be at the top of your game, it means that you have to always believe in your own development and that of a child. So as we part, we're not really parting, right? We're just taking a respite to go out there, because their food, as I said to my team, this is not a somber occasion. This is a celebration. Tomorrow, we must put on our best attire and our comfortable shoes, and I have to sit on stage and not say anything. Okay, that's tomorrow. But tonight, we are going to celebrate your accomplishments, because you are truly great and you are all diamonds to me. Thank you very much, and we'll see you outside.